So late
Seriously,
yesterday,
what's a
Stephen Miller, one of
habeas
the president's
corpus?
top advisors, threatened to suspend the writ of habeas corpus, one of the most dangerous and vile threats yet coming from the administration. Let me break down what that means. First, take a look at what Miller said.
That the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at.
So there's Miller threatening to suspend the writ of habeas corpus. First of all, what is a writ of habeas corpus? Habeas corpus is Latin for provide the body, show the body. And what that means basically is when someone is in custody, you can bring that person before the court. You have a right to go before a court and make the case, I'm not the right person, I shouldn't be incarcerated. You can challenge your unlawful detention. This is a right that is not only enshrined in the Constitution, but goes back to the Magna Carta. For hundreds and hundreds of years, in order to challenge the authority of the king in Britain, you had this right to go before a magistrate. It was considered one of the most important rights enshrined in British law, and it is as well in American law, in our Constitution, and by statute. So there's Miller threatening to suspend it. Now, are you allowed to suspend the writ of habeas corpus? Under what circumstances? This has only happened 4 times in our history, including once during the Civil War. The Constitution has a clause called the suspension clause that allows the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus, but only in cases of rebellion or invasion, and even then only when it's necessary for the public safety. So several problems with what Miller is saying here. First is he and the president don't have the authority to suspend the writ. That authority is given to Congress, not to the president. But second, there is no rebellion, there is no invasion, and in fact, when courts have considered their renderings, their deportations already, the courts have held there is no invasion from Nicaragua or anywhere else to justify invocation of other laws like the Alien Enemies Act. So they've already lost in court on this issue. That clause doesn't apply. That clause is actually meant to protect people and to provide only narrow circumstances in which the writ can be suspended. But what is most threatening about what Miller has to say, besides its utter lawlessness, is the justification, which is, well, we'll have to see what the courts do. That is, they're threatening this lawless action to take away people's right to go before a magistrate. They're threatening that action if the judges continue to rule against them. This is a message directed at the bench. This was not something that Miller spontaneously said. This was premeditated. It is dangerous, and it will not succeed, but it shows you the lengths they'll go to